Bon dia, good morning. I'm going to make the introduction in Catalan and then we're going to switch to English. Sigueu benvinguts i benvingudes a aquests esmorzars organitzats per l'àrea de startups d'Acció. En primer lloc, comentar-vos que tots els serveis d'Acció segueixen al vostre abast a la nostra pàgina web, acció.gencat.cat, i, evidentment, també el servei d'assessorament financer que oferim online i que us ajuda a trobar el mix de finançament més adequat per la vostra startup o la vostra PIME. Bé, pel que fa a l'esmorzar d'avui, porta per títol Current Trends in the European Angel Investing Scene. I l'hem escollit per què? En primer lloc, perquè des d'Acció portem, des dels inicis de l'any 2000, donant suport a la figura del Business Angel. Les primeres proves que feia l'antic CIDEM, que després es va fusionar per esdevenir Acció, fèiem de xarxa d'inversors privats i introduïem les startups a aquella gent que començàvem a anomenar inversors privats, doncs els hi presentàvem perquè decidissin si volien invertir o no. També l'any 2001 vam organitzar la primera Business Angels Academy, conjuntament amb l'IES, que va ser una pedrera de molts business angels que en aquell moment van saber que estaven fent de business angels, van començar a aprendre com podien desenvolupar més aquesta activitat i, a més, en van conèixer d'altres, la qual cosa per nosaltres també és molt important, que els business angels es coneguin entre ells. I, finalment, també en el futur es van produir i es van organitzar altres escoles de business angels, organitzades per banc, per exemple, organitzades per la Salle o organitzades també per ESADE. Després també altres coses que hem fet amb les xarxes d'inversors privats. El 2004 vam iniciar el programa de suport a les xarxes d'inversors privats i que ha continuat fins a la data d'avui i avui ja en forma de línia d'ajuts, però una línia d'ajuts que d'alguna manera prima la feina que fan les xarxes, en prima els resultats. O després també, finalment, l'any 2015, tot el procés d'acreditació de les xarxes d'inversors privats com a entitat de finançament alternatiu conjuntament amb el crowd equity, el crowdlending o l'invoice trading. Bé, una altra raó, en segon lloc, per nosaltres els business angels són una de les peces fonamentals de qualsevol ecosistema de startup, en el sentit més ampli. Creiem que després dels fundadors, la família, els amics i els incauts, el business angel és aquella part, o els business angels són aquella part que d'alguna manera assumeixen més risc després dels fundadors. Evidentment, els fundadors assumeixen un nivell molt elevat de risc, però els business angels l'assumeixen després. I pensem que són crítics per aquesta etapa, no només pels diners que porten, sinó també pels contactes, pel coneixement, per l'experiència i també per la paciència i pel suport. Després ja vindran els fons de capital risc, ja vindran el creixement de les companyies, la seva internacionalització, en alguns casos la seva venda i també en alguns casos la sortida a borsa, les IPO. I sense la seva figura ens plantegem a vegades qui sap on seria el nostre ecosistema de startups a Catalunya tan reconegut a nivell europeu. I finalment, l'última raó, perquè l'EBAN, la European Business Angel Association, de la qual Acció en forma part des dels anys 2000, és l'entitat de referència a nivell europeu sobre la figura del business angel, ja sigui per la seva difusió, per l'obtenció de dades o per compartir bones pràctiques. I una part d'aquestes polítiques, de les polítiques que fem des d'Acció, una part han estat inspirades pel seu guiatge. I, per tant, avui també ens volem inspirar i veure per on va el futur dels business angels, de la seva inversió, per part del president d'aquesta organització. I bé, pel que fa al ponent d'avui, el Janne Jormalainen, àngel inversor i president de la EBAN. És president del Consell d'Administració de 4 startups i president emèrit de la Finnish Business Angels Association. Ell és Master of Science en Enginyeria Electrònica i de Telecomunicacions per la Universitat de Tampere. A nivell laboral, té experiència a Europa, als Estats Units i al sud-est asiàtic, on va desenvolupar una part important de la seva carrera a Nokia, on va entrar com a enginyer de disseny i després va continuar-hi fent tasques de posició de VP de màrqueting o de potenciació de la mobilitat o de productes de convergència, no? Que seria aquella unitat d'accessoris mòbils, IoT o portables que facturava més de 860 milions d'euros. No? Addicionalment, també ha fundat la xarxa Aurora Business Angels, que és una xarxa de Business Angels a Helsinki que inverteix en startups tecnològiques en fase pre-seed, seed i sèries A i que compta amb el suport del European Angel Fund. No? I també porta invertint des de l'any 2006 en moltíssimes o en desenes de startups. No? I bé, l'esmorzar d'avui serà en format conversa, amb preguntes dels visionadors a través del xat. També ho podreu seguir a través de Twitter amb l'etiqueta EFAcció, EF, d'Esmorzar de Finançament Acció. And then, Janne, we're gonna start. And I would like to ask you the first question. So the one that is, can you make an overview of what the European Business Angels Network Association does?
Thank you so much, Oriol, and let me also welcome you all participants in Catalonia, in different parts of Europe, as well as our international participants as well. Before I get started, I just have to say that I was looking at the Barcelona weather forecast for today, and it looks like it's going to be a beautiful, almost summer day in Barcelona. And I'm a little bit jealous to all of you who are in Catalonia, because it is like 5 degrees here in Helsinki, Finland. And it's a little bit foggy day. We still have some snow on the ground. So it's not yet summer here, but looks like you are going to have a beautiful day today. But hey, thank you so much for having me today, and thank you, Oriol, for the first question. The European Business Angel Network is the umbrella organization of European business angel networks. So in other words, the local networks that operate in different cities and countries then belong to EBAN. And EBAN is representing the business angel community, for example, towards the EU institutions, offering different kinds of training and events and many other things to support the local business angel networks. And I'm actually going to get back to that with my presentation also. Hopefully to show you how EBAN can support both the entrepreneurs, but also the business angels in your investments. But let's actually start by just a short review that what I'm going to be talking about today. So first of all, I'll just say a couple more words about myself, then talk about the trends in business angel investing in Europe, the things that I see happening and taking place this year, but also in the coming years going forward. And then the third, or the second, shall we say, the second important part of my presentation is really that I would like to have a discussion with all of you. I hope that you have good questions, difficult questions for me, and I hope that we can have then have interaction around those at the end as well. So that's the structure of what I'm going to be talking about. And before I get started, let me just say that of course, I am looking at this world from the with the eyes of a business angel, and you will see that throughout the next 30 or so minutes when I talk also. But at the same time, I also have to say that in my world, the entrepreneurs are the real heroes of this world, because they are the ones who make the the big changes in the world. And us as the business angels, we are the ones hopefully helping the entrepreneurs to be successful. So I always look at things in the, with the eyes of a business angel, but at the same time, looking that the entrepreneurs are the heroes that we need to be supporting. Let me just share my screen here, and then we'll get started. So trends in angel investing, what's going to be happening this year and the coming years. And I will be taking a view to the trends themselves, what's happening, but also then some of the activities that EBAN is doing at the European level, and hopefully that then can support you as entrepreneurs, but also support you as business angels as well. So then starting with myself, maybe a couple more words about myself, that I have actually been sitting on both sides of the table, so to speak, for quite a long time. So I have been an entrepreneur, and I am an entrepreneur at the moment as well, but I'm also then an angel investor. So angel investor supported by the European Angel Fund as well. And I have started myself companies in quite a different industries. So I have been doing, internet services, computer software. I have been doing building materials. I have started a daycare chain. I have started accounting services company, and today I actually I'm also an entrepreneur in a company that sells schools around the world, so changing the primary education world of today. I have been lucky enough that I have been able to do several successful exits, also in my own companies, but of course then lately also in the companies that I have invested into. And I have been quite active really in developing the angel ecosystem, both here in Northern Europe, as well then now also as the chairman of the European Business Angel Network. But that's maybe enough of me. So I have, like I said, I have been sitting on both sides of the table when it comes to investing and seeking for investments. So I emphasize that it's always important that both sides of the table in a way understands each other in a good way. So then talking about the trends, what's happening over the next coming months, next years in Europe, I will talk about these 4 things, and I will take them one by one. But cross-border investing, I think, is going to be a very big thing. Impact investing, the rise of women investors, but also the rise of women entrepreneurs, seeing that a lot happening lately. And then, of course, we are in a very unique position in Europe that we can also leverage private investments with public money. And I think that can greatly support the European economy and European entrepreneurs as well. So let's get started. Cross-border investing is the first one which I was intending to talk about. And what I have been seeing in my own investments, but also, of course, in different parts of Europe, is that the angel deals are getting bigger and bigger. In other words, I think business angels are starting to invest in the area where perhaps in the traditional way, at the seed, pre-seed funds, very early stage funds used to be investing. And we see deals that are, up to a couple of million euros easily done by business angels as well. So in a way, the pre-seed seed perhaps even to A round states can be now done entirely by angels. So, for example, I have a company in my own portfolio which has raised several million euros in capital, and that all has come from business angels around Europe. So larger deals, meaning more money, which of course is really important for the entrepreneurs to be able to scale the different activities. But I see a really big enabler for this being the cross-border investing. So it's rarely that the investors only come from the local network, shall we say, but it's so that then you actually have these super angels or perhaps angels doing bigger tickets from across Europe and even across the world. And by doing that, then of course these larger deals can be done. So it's of course important that we support the entrepreneurs with money, but it's also important that the entrepreneurs get support in other means. And I think that the cross-border investing has been very successful in helping then local companies actually to penetrate markets outside their home markets. So say that there would be a Catalonian company, planning to enter, for example, the US, and if we would have a US angels investing into that company, of course, it provides other means of helping them as well as money, so connections, perhaps knowledge of the market, and so forth. So I think that there's a great benefit of actually being able to support companies with cross-border. And what is EBAN doing actually in this space is that we have a lot of initiatives. So our, if you like, the philosophical thinking is that we should make Europe a common investment area. So meaning that we help the legal framework to be such that throughout Europe you could actually make investments in other European countries. That's not the case at the moment. It's still cumbersome, but I think we can help there quite a bit. And I am very optimistic that even this year we will have platforms that can actually support in doing so. But then more concretely, for example, we have in EBAN an initiative called the Scale Up of the Month, which actually is for companies that are looking to scale and then which are looking at opportunities to reach investors in other countries. So this is something that has been ongoing for quite a while already. It's well accepted and also an opportunity, I think, for Catalonian investors and entrepreneurs to reach for the European audience. But then another example of an international connections is on this slide as well. So we, for example, started this kind of a cooperation between Europe and India. So companies, European companies, looking to penetrate Indian market and looking for perhaps investments or connections in India, are invited to look at this opportunity. And we have similar kind of opportunities then to the West, to the US markets coming up as well. But the point being that what EBAN can do here is, of course, to help companies reach the European level investors and markets, but also then internationally, be it Asia, be it the US or the American markets. So that's what I would want to say about the cross-border. One just minor thing that often is very kind of perhaps overlooked by entrepreneurs is that when you do cross-border, when you are looking for cross-border investments, it's extremely important to have local sponsor support. And what I mean by that is that it's very difficult to start reaching investors in another country or another continent if you don't have an investor sponsor in your local market. And that's something that I would encourage everybody to do, because the investors want to see, the foreign investors want to see that there is a local support and local connection that they could work with if they make the investment. Okay, so cross-border investing, really important, something that is going to be, I think, happening more and more in Europe, and something that I believe is going to make the deals, the angel deals, larger and larger going forward. Then my second trend is about impact investing, and this is something that we are seeing really taking strong tailwind now in Europe, as it has been in Americas, and I believe that impact investing, of course, is going to be also a big talking point for angels in the coming years. So what I mean by impact investing is that we make investments that have a positive, measurable impact to society or to the environment, in addition to positive financial return as well. So we're talking about projects that typically are solving one or several of, or trying to help in solving one or several of the sustainable development goals of the United Nations. And of course, in an angel investing world, this has been always something that people have in top of their mind, because angels are typically quite close to the companies that they invest into. It's much more so than, for example, in the institutional investor world has traditionally been. So I think that it's always been a mindset in the angel community that we want to be doing also good with the money that we invest into the companies, in addition to also having then the financial return. But what I'm seeing more and more so is the emergence of companies that are specifically looking at impact investors, and specifically looking at the kind of a mindset that impact investors do have for perhaps taking a longer term view, or then having the same kind of a mindset in terms of helping in a particular problem. I am myself, and I have been now for years investing quite heavily into education technology, and this has been something where I have seen myself in a very easy way that when you actually put together investors and entrepreneurs that have a very they have a same mission in life, if you like, I think excellent things can really happen. I have made a couple of really fantastic exits also from a financial point of view in the education world, and that has all happened through the excellent relationship that the investors and the entrepreneurs have had, and a shared mission. I think that's the whole point about impact investing. What I would perhaps like to just point out to entrepreneurs is that look at if you can actually, if your business is making an impact, if you think your business is making an impact to the sustainable development goals, then you should be looking at also the ways to measure it. I think it's important that we don't just talk about things, but we also are able to quantify how we are going to make the impact and how that is taking effect over time. Okay, so impact investing is in definitely more and more on the agenda, and I personally have seen that this is really I hope one of the important points of also doing good for the world and for the society. Then my third trend is the rise of women investors and women entrepreneurs. Now, this business has been, traditionally very dominated by male investors, and I think that the fact that we have more and more women investors joining the angel community is a fantastic thing. The diversity is really proving to be a very positive force in the angel communities. But the more, perhaps even a stronger trend that I see also is that there are more and more women entrepreneurs entering to the the investment scene and looking for investments. And of course, this is equally important and something that I think that is going to be really shown in the diversity of different ideas that we will actually see in Europe over the coming years. So I think that you see that there's a spread of different ideas coming from entrepreneurs, and then there's definitely the trend of actually women investors joining the ranks of angel communities. But also I think that the women investors are in many ways also supporting the women entrepreneurs, which of course is a nice way of nice way of supporting in addition to the financial support as well. What we have been doing actually in the EBAN world has been that we have these initiatives like one on the right hand of this slide. So we have a women-led community. So establishing a community specifically for women investors and for them to share different initiatives and success stories. And of course, the European community is doing a huge amount of activities here in this world, in this field as well, and then a lot of those supported currently by EBAN as well. But I see that the diversity of investors, diversity of entrepreneurs is in the rise, and I personally see that as a very, very positive thing, and that is going to promise that the foundation that we are building through entrepreneurship in Europe is going to be stronger and stronger in the coming years. Then my fourth trend is about the leveraging of private investments with public money. In a way, the way we can establish private-public partnerships in supporting entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs. And I think in Europe we are in a unique position to do this, more so than in many other parts of the world. We have this tradition that the public support for entrepreneurs has been there, and now of course with the new EU initiatives there is going to be even more so support. For example, the EIC initiative that has been launched is really a big possibility for European entrepreneurs to gain public support. But the way I see this, this again in my own world also is that I think that this kind of different loan instruments, guarantee instruments, have made it possible that that even a leverage of say 3 times to the private money can be achieved. So that if you have a million euros in private equity, you could leverage that even 3 times more with perhaps public funds, and I think that this is of course a huge benefit because quite often, more often than not, these instruments are non-diluting, so they're actually very good instruments for the entrepreneur, but also for the investors. And personally, I see that this is probably going to be an area where Europe can truly take a lead, compared to the other markets, and also Europe can make a big difference, because in many ways Europe has been a market where the amount of money, especially in the early stage investments, have been relatively scarce compared, for example, to the US. But I think that with the public leverage, this can be significantly increased and has been significantly increased. And of course, then that will make more level playing field with the US colleagues and the US companies. Also, especially because I think we are more capital. We can save, we can do more with less capital in Europe than we can in the US markets. But definitely something that I would urge every entrepreneur to look into is the leverage instruments that you could actually use in funding rounds, be it local national leverage instruments or the EU level leverage instruments as well. So something that is really really beneficial, and of course beneficial for the angels as well. Okay, so that was my fourth trend. So I was reviewing the cross-border investing. So I see that the cross-border investing is on the rise. We can do bigger deals with investors joining in other parts of the European countries, but also internationally. Impact investing, doing good with the money, and I think that it's an opportunity for both entrepreneurs, but also for the investors. And I really would like to encourage perhaps to looking into the measurement of impact. There are a lot of initiatives coming from EBAN also to help in actually making the impact measurement easier, so that you don't need to do the sort of very thorough investigation or measurement packages as is typical, for example, in the institutional world, but actually something that is more suitable for the startup and angel world as well. Then thirdly, the women investors and entrepreneurs. Diversity is good. It's bringing us more ideas. It's bringing us more initiatives, and I think that also for all the women investors and women entrepreneurs in this call, I would encourage you to join perhaps the European level networks, to share those ideas and share those stories, because I think that those can attract even more women into the angel investor world, but also help hopefully the women entrepreneurs as well. And then leveraging the private investments. Again, I would encourage really the entrepreneurs, but also angels alike, that this is something which there is a lot of leverage available, and it's non-diluting in typical instruments. So something that you should definitely look into, and something that can make a big difference when we build the European entrepreneurial ecosystem forward, and the foundation of the European economy in the coming years. So with that, I will actually conclude, and I think that we can move on to the discussion. I really would like to encourage you to have this the rest of the session interactive, and hopefully have good discussions how we could at EBAN level help the local entrepreneurs, but and of course investors as well. If you are interested in the different EBAN events, I would encourage you to sign up for the EBAN newsletter, which you can do at eban.org website, and then you will have the information about the European level events and activities that are taking place. Thank you very much.
Okay, Janne, thank you. We are in I just would like to encourage people just to ask questions using the chat, okay? And while people are thinking about the questions, I would like to ask you one question, okay? You've mentioned that the cross-border investing is going to be one of the trends, okay? As far as we know, here in Catalonia, we have seen some deals, but very few deals have international business angels, okay? So business angels tend to be more local. So my question would be, what can we do in order to increase cross-border deals? You've mentioned having a local investor, for example, but it has a sense in the case of business angels, as you said, okay? What can we do to increase it? And you think that the current situation where people cannot move, cannot meet, and there are still deals taking place, is going to increase the rhythm or the amount of cross-border deals due to COVID-19?
Yeah, that's a great question. What can we do to increase cross-border investing? I think that I'm perhaps an old-fashioned kind of person, meaning that I like to invest with people that I know. And I think that it's really important that we know each other. The people that are investing together do know each other. And I think that in that way it's important we create these Europe-wide networks, or business angels create these Europe-wide networks, that they do know the people in other countries that are like-minded. They like same kind of companies, for example. So I think that's a one thing, and of course what we are doing in EBAN for facilitating that is the different events, and that's a great way of establishing these European connections. Now, the other thing is that I think we need to have a way of sharing, an easier way of sharing deals, which we are also working at EBAN. So that's another important point, that it's not that the deals are always in different platforms and difficult to look for and so forth. And then finally, it's the fact that the legally the deal can be actually done easy way. So Europe, of course, is many different countries, and same applies that there are many different legal frameworks for making investments. So I think there are now initiatives at the EU level to actually easy, to make that easier. For example, the Startup Nation initiative is I think a good step towards that. But at the same time, I think at EBAN, what we are doing at the moment is also looking for different platforms, how we could, you know, really do that in a smooth way, so that you know, you could actually have investors from several European countries and investing to the same company. Now, but I think it all, at the end of the day, like I said, it boils down to having a local sponsor, and the local sponsor being active in establishing the networks. That's something that I would encourage. At least in my own world, you know, in my own business, I have worked quite hard actually to establish those links, that I know angels from Spain, I know angels from France, I know angels from Germany, and you know, the kind of angels that could invest into the same kind of companies that I invest, and I think that is a key to that success.
Yeah, because sometimes you think, if you want to have the common market, okay, maybe the more cross-border deals, the more commodization of business angel investment. So you need those angels in order to expand into other European markets. That would be a winning combination.
And I think I would, you know, I would really emphasize the other help that the angels can do, not only the financials. I think money is available in different, you know, there is plenty of money available, but angels can actually really roll their sleeves and help in entering different markets, and you know, that is much more valuable sometimes than the financial help.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so it seems that the coffee is having some effect on our viewers, okay, or maybe it's the weather, it's getting shiny, okay. So people are asking questions, so I'm going to read them to you, okay. Some of them.
Please.
Okay. We have because we have almost like 6 or 7. The first question is from Marie-Angels Ruiz. She thanks you for the exposition, and she's saying that they are a startup developing a project of a medical plan for a pharmaceutical industry, and she would like to know your opinion about the possible interest of business angels in this sector, which is the agricultural cultivation of medical plant. What are your views on this sector? That maybe it's not your area of expertise, okay? But if you can say something on that, she would be very happy. And if you don't have views on this sector, because you are not an expert on that, we could move on.
Well, I'm definitely not an expert in anything to do with medical. That's actually one industry that I don't personally invest into, simply because I don't know enough. But I just say that much, that again, I think it's important that you know, this company would get a local angel, and then that local angel hopefully can introduce you know, the company to other angels around Europe and perhaps other, you know, in other parts of the world. So that's how it goes. But I think that you know, when it comes to really commenting the business itself, that's not my area of expertise.
Yeah, Janne, that's something that when we advise startups on getting funding, we say that there are plenty of business angels, almost like people, you know, and ones will invest and others will pass, and others will provide you a lot of value, others less. You know, at the end of the day, sorry, you gotta find your partner, okay, your half side or whatever, okay. So there are plenty of business angels. The next question is about, where do you get business angels? Okay, if you could expand a little on that, how you reach those business angels and what ways you have to reach them in a European level or in Finland and the Finnish level. And then maybe I will add something on Catalonia.
I think you probably are, Oriol, better you know, person to answer that question in a local sense. But taking more broader view, I think that the best way to reach business angels is really through a local network, business angel network, which typically has this kind of a deal flow mechanism that you can actually put your company into business angel deal flow, and then you could pitch in one of the events, and then potentially attract the business angels interest to the company. And that is the way. I think that's universally the same around the world, that's the best way to do it. And as said, it's always best to have a local angel to actually in the first rounds, and then expand from there with their connections. Okay. And I think that it's also really important to look for a right kind of business angel. It's money. Again, is of course important for a company, but it's even more important that you could get the support from a business angel or business angels that know perhaps they could perhaps help you to avoid some of the mistakes that they have made before, and I think that is super valuable. Time is the biggest. The biggest resource that an entrepreneur has, that if you can save time, that's fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, I would add on what you have said, Janne. In the case of Catalonia, for example, from Axio, we have 12 business angels networks accredited, okay, where that you can contact them. And also we have our online alternative finance online tool where you can choose your sector. For example, you can choose the amount you're looking for. You can choose the economic situation of the company, why you need the money, and there are going to be more business angels networks that you could access directly. Okay, so Janne, let's move to the next question. It's from Jaume Ramon. It's talking about cryptocurrencies. Okay, so it's sometimes it's out of my reach at least. He's asking, have you heard about the new way of investing with the token system and smart contracts using the cryptocurrencies, and being able to invest from your office to companies around the world? And have you heard, and what are your views on that?
Yes, it's. I have heard, and I'm somewhat familiar with the different concepts there. I would say it's not mainstream at the moment. It's probably going to be coming as an alternative way of making the investments. It's one of these mechanisms how you can make investments. That's my opinion. It's there are other, there are many different mechanisms to actually do investments. So in a way, yes, it's important, but at the same time, it's just one more mechanism in my own mind anyway. Some people think about it, and it can be in some industries, I suppose. But I would say that it's another mechanism rather than anything else. Yeah, that's really my thinking there.
Okay, now we're going to move to the next question. It's from Mauricio, and the question is related to spin-off. Okay, and mainly maybe university spin-offs. And the question is, if suitable, can you explain your experience in working with investigators or researchers, maybe, that have developed a product, startup, or a spin-off? Could you give some tips to this specific, audience when they are looking for investors? I think it's more the people that are focused to research, maybe, and university environment or technological centers, maybe. What are your views and tips and advice on that?
Yes, I have actually, quite a lot of experience in this area also, just from my own investments. I made a couple of investments which have been especially like this, that it's been a research project in a research institution, and then it's been kind of commercialized to a separate company. Now, it's a difficult question because I think that we are not that successful in Europe in actually transferring the knowledge from universities or research institutions into business. And I would say that there are probably a couple of reasons for it. I think that it's a there's super cool technologies, ideas coming out of universities, but I would say it's often so that we rush into commercializing them, perhaps with the first idea that is there. The overall research project can be large, and it can actually produce many different things. But then we take one idea and then we start rushing to conclusions that this is what we do, and sometimes that's not perhaps the best way to do it. So I would perhaps encourage two things: to look at the alternatives of commercializing. And what I mean in concrete terms is look, how could you actually look at alternative business models? If it's related to a product, could you actually look at not creating the product, but perhaps licensing the idea to an established company, to perhaps just do a patent-based licensing and sell it to everybody. To look at the different alternatives, how you could actually commercialize the technology or the innovation. And then secondly, when it's spun off to another company, I think that it's often so that it requires more time than perhaps thought in the first place. So you need to take that into account with the financing and other means, that it has a means to mature into a commercial product. So those would be my two advices. But I think we need to get better with technology transfer. There are some super cool ideas coming out of European universities and research institutions.
Yeah, okay, it's a challenge also, for example, in Catalonia, that we are the 1% of worldwide science, but this 1% doesn't become a 1% in startups or technological or cutting-edge technological startups. Well, now we have a next question from Andreu Casadellà. He's saying, good morning. When you have the cross-border operations, sometimes it's not aligned with the investment, as the VC prefers money in the holding instead of a new co. Okay, for business angels, the adding values should be invested in the new market, so in the new co, not in the holding. Which is your experience there? As sometimes for the fewer operations and local investment is difficult for series A and B. Thanks. I don't know if I understood well the question, okay, but I will summarize it. And if Andreu, if I'm not doing right, please clarify it for me and for Janne. But I would say, where do business angels prefer to invest? In the holding or in a new company in an expansion market? Maybe that's the question.
So if I rephrase that, does that mean that that the business angels would actually invest into would the business angels actually invest rather into a local company where this company is expanding to?
Yeah, it seems so, the question.
My own experience would be that the business angels would typically like to invest into the original, the holding company, because that's usually the company that owns the intellectual property rights. That if I just now understood the question the correct way. Yes, absolutely. that's typically the way. It's there can be some issues with the the business structures, like for example in the US market, it's quite complicated that certain funds don't invest into certain type of company structures, but I would say this is the overall thinking of a business angel. Was there another part of the question which I'm not sure if I understood that?
Well, the second is for the BAs, the add value should be to invest in the new market or the local market, not in the holding. And which was your experience into that, and if it was creating difficulties for the future series A and B, and after this having business angels in a local company instead of having the business angels.
I think that to make things easier for the follow-on rounds, the company structure should be as simple as possible. So I'm personally always of the opinion that there is one holding company, and if you have investors, they are investors to the holding company, and then the company can own as many companies in the other parts of the world as they like. That's usually the simplest way of also attracting then the follow-on investments.
Okay, so now we still have 10 minutes for questions, and the next question is from a guy called Albert Colomer, that I think that you have met him before, and from Business Angels Network Catalonia, and he's asking, well, he thanks you for your great explanation about the angel trends, but he asks you if you can share something about the success of investing with a European angel fund with Nordic business angels, or your experience on that.
So what would be my experience of investing with the European Angel Fund? Yes, so I am one of the angels in Europe that is supported by the European Angel Fund, and maybe just for the sake of the audience, that is a subsidiary of the European Investment Bank. So it means that they, for the supported angels, they basically give you half the money, and then the local angel gives half the money to a small fund, and then this fund invests into startups and scale-ups in Europe. So in other words, there's leverage from the European Investment Bank money with this instrument. Now, what is my experience of having invested probably 15 companies through this instrument so far, has been really very positive, because I think that it gives the supported angel a possibility of doing much larger tickets. So then you are able to participate in the bigger deals, of course. But also I think that the administration, the bureaucracy, is very limited. So it is suitable for business angel driven investments. And then thirdly, of course, there's the possibility of having a carried interest in exits. So that also works in the benefit of the business angel. So I have done, like I said, 14 or so investments, one exit, from those investments, and it's been, for me, it's been working quite well.
Okay, so I would like to encourage also Catalan business angels in order to look for those leverage instruments that you have mentioned. I've explained it more deeply in order to reach their focus here in Catalonia, because I think we are under the volume that we should be in those instruments. So Janne, is it easy to ask or to apply to this instrument, or there are some sometimes European procedures that sometimes are difficult to understand. It was easy for you to apply to that?
I think it's relatively easy. I don't think it's I don't think it's that difficult. But this, I just have to perhaps say that this is meant for experienced business angels that have done exits and have done investments before. There is a due diligence process that the European Investment Fund does, but I think it's quite friendly for the business angels, though.
You could say maybe it's like for super angels. Maybe.
It's angels. It's business angels that really want to be doing this, in a very professional way. If you do one investment here and there, I don't, not necessarily then, but if you consider yourself as a professional business angel, then I think it's a consideration.
Okay, so please, people, take note on that. Okay, the next question from Javier Ray. He's saying, in terms of VCs and business angels, do you think Catalonia is better off on its own, or has better leveraging power remaining with Spain as a larger country? Well, I don't know this question. If you have views on that.
Can you just repeat it, Oriol? I'm not sure that I understood the question.
Neither me. In terms of VCs and business angels, do you think Catalonia is better off on its own, or has better leveraging power remaining with Spain as a larger country? I don't know, maybe it's more political question.
I wouldn't have really a view on that. I think it's more local question than something that I could take a view on. I think that it's. I'm personally of the opinion that the bigger the investment market, then typically more money there is in the market. So I'm kind of looking at it from a European perspective, that the more open we have the European investment market, then we can attract more money outside Europe into the market. So that would be the only view that I would be able to give at this point.
Okay, thank you. Now, when you were saying attracting international money, for example, we have the accreditation process of crowdfunding, crowd equity platforms, okay? And we're seeing that they are getting a lot of investors from outside Spain, outside Catalonia, in Catalan deals, okay? And also from outside Europe, okay? And the next question is related to that, and it's about here. It's about the next move of Business Angels Network to profit from this digitalization, like crowd equity platforms are doing. Okay, just like business angels investing like with throughways, or just being more relationship between business angels, platforms, also VCs, and other new ways of funding companies. How you see that interaction for the near future?
Well, I see it perhaps that way, that they are complementary than anything else. So I think that if you talk about crowdfunding specifically, it's quite suitable for certain type of companies to actually raise money through crowdfunding. But then at the same time, I think that the crowdfunding is not generally something that would, for example, replace the business angel investments. I think money-wise, you can raise rounds in crowdfunding, but typically that's all you get out of that business. And then if you look at the best way of business angel investments, it's typically coming in a package of financial help and other type of help to the company as well. So I would say that they are complementary. Sometimes crowdfunding is used to actually add into the business angel rounds as well. But I think as said, they're complementary systems, and good that I guess it's good that there's more money coming into the system, so to speak. But especially for certain type of companies, like consumer type of companies, it can be a very viable way of raising money.
Okay, Janne, we still have 3 questions, so maybe we're gonna go faster, okay, in order to end on time. Well, the next question is from David Garcia Nieto. He has 2 questions, okay, so we're gonna merge them. They have a business plan to focus in ornamental fishes in Colombia based on an international market study, and he's the founder of this project, and they have good revenues, but they need seed capital, early stage. Good revenues, but need a seed capital from business angels. The problem is in Latin America, because he says that business angels only do investment in a later stage, okay? So he's asking you a very direct question. Can you recommend the business angels to get investment in early stage? He's a Spanish guy who lives in Colombia, and he's asking if he could get investment from EBAN, for example, or angels related to EBAN.
Well, I mean, again, this goes back to my earlier comment of local angels. I think it would be, personally, I think it would be very difficult to get an investment from a European angels to a company in Colombia without having a local angel, do the deal, so to speak. So that'd be my thinking there. If this person is from Spain, maybe Spanish angels could be one way to look into. But I think that the easiest way to get cross-border money is to have a local angel as a sponsor. That's it.
Yeah, it's crystal clear explanation. Okay, the next one is from Xavier Rola. Thanks you for the explanations, and he's saying that if you could explain a little bit more how a business accelerator or business incubators can collaborate with EBAN, and also corporates, how corporates can collaborate with EBAN.
Many different ways, actually. We have a lot of corporate members. We have and in EBAN. So sharing deal flow, between accelerators, between corporations, EBAN, participating into different events as speakers, sponsors, different other means, I think that it's also something that could be looked into if there is a specific need that, for example, a corporation would have, that they would like to get certain type of companies or whatever. I think EBAN could look into the possibility of providing that. But the easiest is that if this person is interested in the cooperation with EBAN, then to contact the EBAN office and initiate the discussion there.
Okay, so second to the last question, which factor is more relevant to you for a seed round? Team plus product, but without relevant traction, or traction? As a follow-on question, he would also ask, how do you calculate the valuation of a company without traction?
Wow, wonderful questions. So what is more important? What is important in making an investment? I personally put a lot of emphasis to team, and in addition to that, then to traction. I think that it's an old cliche, but it's true that a good team can make even a bad idea fly, but not vice versa. So team is really important, and I put really a lot of emphasis on traction as well. I think it's important that team can show that there's a market demand, but more importantly, that they can execute. And sorry, the second question was the
Valuation,
valuation, yes.
Without revenues or traction.
I think calculating a valuation is really easy. And the right valuation is what is acceptable to the investor and what's acceptable to the entrepreneur. There are no rules really, especially for a company that is in a very early stage. But of course, there are many different ways. If you look through the internet, there are many different ways of actually looking at it. One way of looking at it is that how much money is needed, and then typically in any round you would give 15 to 25% of new shares out to the investors. So that's a one way of looking at it, and so forth. But there is not really a one valuation mechanism, but I would say that it's really a negotiation between the entrepreneur and the investors.
Okay, Janne, and then the last question from Pascal Nizet, and it refers again to the capital market unions. Do you see differences between countries or regions across Europe in terms of administrative, legal, fiscal aspects for cross-border business angel investors?
Yes, unfortunately, there are differences, and that's something that I think we need to work on, that we would actually smoothen the differences, so to speak, that we would be able to open the European market more for cross-border investments.
Okay, so Janne, thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts, your views, and also your advice. Okay, and also I would like to thank EBAN for having make this connection to us. And what I expect is that thanks to this talk, you would know more business angels, okay, more local business angels, and that we can connect more with the Finnish ecosystem and the European ecosystem. Thank you very much, Janne.
Thank you. Thank you so much.